Skull, wearing white with gold, officially weighing in at 159 and 1/2 pounds. His professional record.
Huge crowd in attendance. Many of them on their feet in anticipation for this much anticipated fight. According to show stats,
Canelo has been sure he's coming in for the win against Skull, but Skull is not easy work, and he's made that clear too.
With this Cuban style of boxing, what kind of fight are you expecting to this man, William Skull?
I expect the same. At the beginning, it's going to be a little bit difficult, but you know, I'm different Canelo now, and he's going to feel it Saturday.
From the moment the fight was announced, Canelo has looked locked in, focused, and made one thing clear. He plans to punish William Skull. He hasn't traveled halfway around the world just to edge a win. This isn't just another title defense for him. This is his first fight outside of North America, and it marks the start of a new 4-fight deal under a Saudi Arabian promotional brand.
Canelo fans, please pray for Canelo. He's about to fight William Skull in Saudi. Pray for Canelo, bro. Pray for Canelo, bro.
Bro, but don't you get it? Canelo will never lose because Turkey needs him to win.
Yeah, he's not gonna lose.
There's no way Turkey gets his Crawford fight if Canelo loses, so that's not happening.
It's a deeper, darker.
In the most recent verbal warning, Canelo didn't waste time sugarcoating his feelings about Skull. When Skull made a comment about eating well on Saturday, Canelo clapped back without hesitation. The only thing on his plate will be my right hand. That type of cold, confident threat isn't new from Canelo, but it always feels sharp every time he talks. It's like he's reminding his opponent and the world that talking doesn't win. Fights, the ring does. And that's where he says the truth gets exposed.
Canelo, can I get your remarks on Skull's comments that he said he's going to eat you in the ring on Saturday night?
I have my kids here. If no, I can say what he's going to eat on Saturday. But he's going to eat punches. That's what he's going to eat. In that way, he's going to eat.
Canelo's been in the spotlight since his teens. He's faced legends like Floyd Mayweather, Gennady, Golovkin, Sergey Kovalev, and Caleb Plant. He's fought at different weight classes, challenged himself repeatedly, and always made it clear he wants to be remembered as one of the greats. Now he's chasing another milestone, undisputed status again. And this fight against Skull is a necessary stop on that journey. But while Canelo's path is decorated with belts and big names, William Skull comes in, hungry and unbeaten.
I'm taking nothing away from Skull. I see what could be a very handy, if not easy, win for Canelo.
Yeah, matches up to the minus 6,600 line according to Las Vegas.
Is that all it is? Minus 6,600?
Yeah, that's it.
The Cuban fighter holds a clean 23-0 record with 9 knockouts, and he's fresh off a win against Vladimir Shishkin that earned him the IBF title, the same IBF belt that once belonged to Canelo, before he vacated it to pursue other fights. That fact alone adds tension to this matchup. Skull is not just trying to keep his belt. He's trying to beat the man who let it go as if it meant nothing. That's fuel for any fighter, especially one like Skull who's had to fight for everything he has.
I'm about to be a 2-time undisputed fighter, so that's all about.
You mentioned the Cuban style up there. What other challenges does Skull present to you? Though?
Oh, he's a very skillful fighter. He's have a lot of talent, and but you know, I've been in the with all kind of the styles, so I can adapt myself to any fighter.
Skull doesn't carry himself like the typical flashy underdog. He's calm, almost cold when he speaks. He talks about strategy, not emotions. He doesn't seem interested in taunts or hype. I fled Cuba, crossed borders, and now I'm here to win, he said, laying his story out in one sentence. He knows what this fight means. He's not just here to put up a good showing. He wants to win, and he believes he can. The media might focus on Canelo. The fans might be cheering for the Mexican superstar. But Skull has nothing to lose, and fighters like that are always dangerous.
Canelo Alvarez. Canelo, you've been a part of 66 professional fights. Does number 67 this week feel a little bit different?
Feels the same for me. I love boxing, I enjoy boxing, and for me it's the same. I'm very excited to be here in Riyadh. That's the only change. It's one of my dreams, fighting in another country. Now I'm about to do it. I'm excited. It's the same for me. It's the same, excited, motivated, I'm ready.
Still, not everyone is convinced Skull has. what it takes. Nigel Benn recently came forward with a harsh story about Skull's sparring performance against Ben's son, Conor. Ben, according to Nigel Skull, looked gassed by the 4th round, started asking for breaks by the 5th, and didn't come out for the 8th. That kind of sparring rumor, if true, could be a red flag. Nigel said he was sitting down on the ring rope because he was kind of tired. Conor put it on him. He couldn't even come out for the 8th round. It's brutal. And it's not the kind of talk you want circling around before you face one of the sport's biggest names.
You know, Nigel's a religious man, so he's not really going to want to lie. But it's very hard to believe. Look at the size difference between Conor Benn and William Skull. Skull's absolutely huge compared to him. Second of all, Skull's probably in the hardest training camp of his life. He's training to fight Canelo. I doubt he's getting stopped by Conor Benn, who's way smaller than him. It's hard to believe.
But sparring is sparring. It's not the fight Skull supporters will say everyone has bad days in training, and what really matters is how you show up under the lights with the gloves on and the world watching. And there are some respected voices who are backing Skull to do more than just survive. David Morrell, an unbeaten rising star himself, said flat out that Skull is being underestimated. Morrell's been watching, he's seen Skull's amateur fights, studied his work, and he believes the Cuban has a real shot. He's very strong, he's very dedicated and disciplined, Morrell said, adding that if the judges are fair and do what they're supposed to do, then Skull could pull off what would be one of the year's biggest upsets.
Then the fact that round, I think 5, he was up, no, because Conor only has 40 seconds rest. And then what he was doing in between the middle of the rounds, he was sitting on the rope because he was tired. Then it came to round 5, 6, 7, started feeling the pace. This is William Skull, IBF champion.
Superstar.
And then
Morrell's comments carry weight, because he's not just speaking as a fan, he's another fighter preparing for his own war against David Benvitz, a name that keeps coming up as another future opponent for Canelo. So when someone like Morrell says to pay attention to Skull, it's worth listening to. Fighters can already see what casual fans miss. They notice habits, movement strengths that don't always show up on highlight reels. And Morrell seems convinced that Skull is a live dog in this fight.
Something's telling me that Canelo will stop William Skull. I think yes, Skull obviously beats Shishkin to win the vacant title last October, but I mean, I don't think he's great. The rest of his record is fairly padded, in my opinion. Yes, Canelo probably is at his best. We'll come to that next. But I still think he's got enough to maybe even stop Skull. So I'll go with Canelo. It'll be at second half of the fight stoppage for me. Around 8, 9, 10 is probably when...
Adding more intrigue to this fight week is the long shadow of Terence Crawford-Canelo versus Skull isn't happening in a vacuum. Everyone knows that a win for Canelo sets the stage for a mega fight with Crawford in September, a clash that could determine the true undisputed king at super middleweight. Crawford, a master technician and undisputed champion at welterweight, would be moving up to face a bigger man in Canelo. That matchup is already being teased by Turki Alalshik, who's been pouring money and ambition into Saudi boxing events.
We all know that Canelo's getting ready to fight Terence Crawford around September. But he has William Skull in front of him, a guy who's hungry and has a really huge opportunity. Canelo Alvarez, kind of in a small decline. Not saying that he is. I love Canelo, my favorite boxer ever. But Canelo in these recent fights have made the fights a lot closer than they should be against his opponents. I'm expecting Canelo to get the win. I don't know if he's going to get a knockout or a decision, but I think the fight's going to be a lot closer than people may think.
But what if Canelo doesn't get past Skull? That's where the stakes rise even more. There's a whole blueprint being drawn up, titles on the line, money on the table, legacy moments in the making, and Skull is the one man standing in the way. He knows it. He knows he wasn't the first choice. He knows Canelo could have faced Edgar Baranga instead, but now that he's here, Skull seems ready to take the spotlight by force.
You feel slighted?
I could have had the Skull fight. Nobody knew that. I had Skull in my DM. Me and him was talking. He was telling me send the contract. He made a video, send me the contract. I was gonna beat him. Like, Skull was easy work. Now, Canelo got to come, because he want that undisputed. And look, now he's fighting Skull and May.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? It's about this, bro. And if
Even Amir Khan, who has shared the ring with both Canelo and Crawford, had something to say in a recent interview. He focused more on Crawford, praising his intelligent speed and underrated power. You need everything in the game. IQ, movement, power, speed. Crawford has it all. Khan said, noting that many don't give Crawford enough credit for how hard he hits. Khan's comments were more about looking ahead to that potential Canelo versus Crawford fight, but they highlight something important. Canelo's power is feared, but Crawford's brain is what might win him fights. All these predictions, all this talk, it's part of what makes this moment feel so charged. On one hand, you have Canelo, the veteran superstar, battle-tested, sharp, and always dangerous. On the other, you have Skull, the quiet storm, a man who's been through real struggle, who carries that Cuban grit, and who has never lost. One man is trying to protect a legacy. The other is trying to build one. And yet the ring doesn't care about stories. It doesn't care about headlines or sparring gossip or future plans.
Fighter like me, I can adapt myself to any style. And this is not going to be the exception. But, you know, it's a champion, and I want to be undisputed again. And I think it's a good match for me right now.
Once the bell rings in Riyadh, it's just two men and a test of wills. Canelo says it'll be different for Skull, and he probably means it. But Skull says he's calm, ready, and strategic, that he's been through too much to fold. Now some people are already planning the next chapter for Canelo. Others are wondering if Skull can flip the script. But what do you think? Do you see Canelo falling anytime soon?